this is what we're doing today. We're gonna put them on the 4Runner. So let's get started. Alright, so here's where I'm at. I got the one bolt off right there. The dust shield's halfway off, but bottom bolts are out. I gotta unplug the O2 sensor, but I had this set up that was going from half drive to 3/8 with the swivel joint. I went ahead and picked up an impact universal joint and a non-impact version, so we can hit our breaker bar on it instead of having to go back and forth with a half drive to 3/8 to back to half. So we'll see how. Alright, so basically I had to go to the store and get some different extensions because these weren't enough. So alright guys, new day. So we had to change our plans because we broke a bolt on the bottom of this flange right here. So now I have to cut it off with a Dremel and there's no room inside there. I really don't want to have to take off the AC compressor, but we're gonna try and chop it with a tiny little Dremel and some bits. See what we can do.
Alright, so quick little update if you can hear me. We got this side done. This side taken out. It wasn't as bad as the driver's side. You can probably hear the angle grinder going over there. So we're actually cutting one of the runners on the manifold because I rounded off a bolt on the other side. So that sucks. But it's got to come off, right? So on this side, I was fortunate enough not to have broken any bolts. Unfortunately, on the other side, not so lucky. I broke 3, and then I'm having to cut out a 4th one. So I'm about 75% right now, which, you know, whatever, I'll take it. I'm not sure which side was actually cracked because I haven't really inspected this yet, but I'm not ready to install them yet. I still got to put on the O2 sensor onto the 4Runner, or the upstream O2 sensor on the actual header, and then go from there. So let's keep going. Okay, so now what I'm doing is my favorite thing, taking out sheared off bolt heads. Got one here, 2 here, and 1 right there up front. If you can see it right there. So I'm gonna take that off. This one's not so much sheared off as it is just rounded. There it is. And so I'm gonna have to take that out. Hey, there's my valve. Good times. So, yeah, we'll have at it. So here's a little rundown of what happened. So this bolt up here is mostly out. You can see a chunk of it inside there. I drilled it out. That one's mostly out, still tiny chunks of it. So now I'm gonna run a tap, M10 by 1.25 down. I'm actually gonna probably do all the holes just to make sure, or at least the edges of them, the outer edges, so that I know that they're clean. But this was a pain in the butt. It took me a long time, so I decided to skip a lot of that portion. But yeah.
underneath it with the Doug Thorleys. We had to adjust this flange, I'm not sure why, so I had to call in a welder. Didn't get it videotaped, but got that torqued down, got the manifold torqued down up there. Got some oil leakage from adjusting this dipstick over here. Oh man, look at all this rust. I gotta touch up, hit with rust reformer or something. Anyways, we're getting it all torqued up. They look clean. They're kind of dirty because actually I've been, you know, trying to squeeze in wherever I can. And yeah, trying to make sure, trying to keep these lines away from the manifold so that they can stay cool. But yeah, and then this one up here. Yeah, so I kind of zip tied it to existing lines so that it stays away from these guys so it doesn't melt. But yeah, some of these bolts were a pain in the butt. All right guys, here it is. No more tick.
Got a nice deep rumble to it.
Yeah. All right, so all in all, pretty easy install except for the studs. The studs were kind of a pain in the butt, but worth it for not having a tick when it's cold. So, or during a cold start. Got to work on this front end a little bit. Got fog in that headlight, so I gotta replace that. But yeah, so happy to not have a cracked header anymore. Thanks for watching. Sorry I didn't get all of it. It just kind of dragged on, and then I got rained out. In between that and phone dying and everything else, like, it was a bit of a task. So, but we made it before our camping trip, so yay. All right, meow.